to Yep. It's a Tuesday Night Live. No intro, no nothing. I'm going straight in. It's just his phone. Going straight in. Hello. I mean, technically speaking, I guess I don't need my stream deck for anything because I'm not gonna be doing no transitions or nothing crazy. Let some of the tuners tune in and tuners tune out. Let's get my chat right. Let's get my chat right. All right. Anybody that's tuned in right now, this is a off the cuff show. Why is it off the cuff? Honestly, I was just having a conversation with my bestest of besties. She live in Kansas, and we was talking about some shit. This is one of the one people that know if there's a bus about it. Like they know who the fuck I am. Okay, they know what the fuck I'm about. There's no BS to it. There's no thrills, no frills, no nothing. Okay. One of the things. So the topic tonight is legacy. Okay. And the reason we having this conversation about legacy is because we live in a world where, unfortunately, there's a lot of buzzwords that are out here right now, and that's just it. They're just buzzwords. Like, words have meanings. Like, you literally understand that there are definitions to words of things that you're saying. And before we even get all off into it, first and foremost, welcome to another episode of No Cap Reacts. I'm your man Bailey, aka Mr. Go Get 'em. And it's just me tonight. Okay? So, the topic for this evening literally is let's talk about legacy. And the reason we're going to talk legacy is because I don't think people really truly understand what legacy even is. Okay? There is a Webster's dictionary, a diction, a definition of the term legacy. And that's the first place we gonna say. And I'm gonna read this out loud a couple times for the dumbasses in the back that misuse legacy all the time. Legacy is something handed down from the past, such as traditions, cultural heritage, or property, money, bequest from a deceased person. A lot of dating today, a lot of women today love to say, I want to find a man that I could build a legacy with. Now, the crazy part about it is most of y'all got 5 motherfucking kids already. You got a legacy. You created your legacy already. You got 5 kids. Okay? Legacy is about just that. It's about creating something that you can leave to your children. All right? And the first part of a legacy is, well, having kids. Creating a family. If you don't have children, you have no legacy. Because there's a lot of things that you can do that no one's really going to pay attention to. Legacy means that you are willing to get off of your high horse and go out and create shit. And here's the thing that I don't agree with today's version of legacy in the world as we speak it. The reason I don't agree with today's version of legacy is because y'all think legacy is the fact that you get to go buy a fucking Birkin bag. It is the fact that you met a man that can like expense shit. You ain't building nothing. If you need someone to complete you in order for you to build a legacy, if you need someone to fund said legacy, there's already an issue. See, I use this analogy, but it's not an analogy because it's been my life for a very long time. For probably 20 years of my life, I've always worked 2 jobs. I've made sure I work 16 to 18 hours a day. 16 to 18 hours a day. And when I do that, the reason that I do that is to create legacy. In order to own properties, leave something for my kids to have after I pass, other than debt, the first thing that I have to do is work my ass off. And the crazy part about it is, a lot of y'all are not willing to put in the work. Legacy is probably one of the most beautiful things that you could ever give to your children. And the reason that you can give it to your children is because you've allowed yourself to go out and do more than what the regular person is willing to do. And that's just it. A lot of you are not willing to go out and do more than what the regular person is willing to do. Most of you want to put in 40 hours and call it a day. I haven't worked 40 hours alone and I don't know how fucking long. I don't know what a 40-hour week looks like. I don't know what a 40-hour paycheck looks like. I haven't had a 40-hour paycheck from anywhere like ever. If you know what a 40-hour paycheck is, please never have the conversation. Never come talk to me about legacy. Because you're not willing to go above and beyond. You're not willing to take yourself to the next level. Legacy is something handed down from the past, such as tradition. See, Legacy also can have absolutely not a damn thing to do with money or things. It could be the fact that you started a family tradition for you and your family that only applies to you and your family. And this is something that you keep up as a tradition. Whereas I moved to Arizona in 2012. Since 2012, I've made it a tradition to go to zoo lights every damn year. Now, my kids are getting older and they could care less about it, but guess what? I do it. Why do I do it? Well, when you go to zoo lights, you have fun. I don't celebrate Christmas, but I love Christmas lights. I love to just jump in a car, go see some lights, have some hot chocolate, preferably with a beautiful woman, in the passenger seat, and we talk about absolutely nothing. That is a tradition. That is a legacy. That is me creating something that not everybody in my family does, but I do it for my family, for me and my kids. And hopefully my kids grow up and they also take their kids and they go to zoo lights. And now guess what? Legacy. Everything isn't always about money. Okay? The first portion of legacy, the first part of legacy, the main part of legacy is you have to be able to leave something to someone else, which, whether we like it or not, means you need to have children, which means you need to procreate, which means that you've allowed yourself to become something else with someone else to even go about potentially creating some sort of legacy. See, the world that we live in right now is just, my bad. You have no idea about your own cultural heritage. So when you don't know anything about your own cultural heritage, how do you teach your kids about culture, about heritage, about where you came from, about what you do, about how you do it, how your grandparents did it? Anyone prior to that? Some of the people that I deal with are just fucking stupid. Life is not about one thing. And as long as you continue walking in life and the only thing that you got to talk about is money, understand, like, you're not going to make it far. Like, there's no hope for you. You just an idiot. Okay? If you make $1 million right now, in most cases, you finna go blow that shit. The same ones that be out here talking about, I can't wait to find somebody so we can create a legacy. Give you $1 million right now, I guarantee you about to blow that shit. That money ain't gonna make it a week. And the reason that we know that is, see, in the same conversation that I was having with someone is, she made a very valid point. When people say, oh, I need someone to build with. Why do you need someone to build with? Why aren't you already building? Why aren't you already creating? Why aren't you already putting yourself out there? See, here's the thing. If you meet a certain type of man, if you meet a man that is actually about something and you come talking all that legacy shit, but you don't want to work, that means you also don't want nothing for yourself. You also don't want to bring anything into this home. You are another child to him. You are more of a liability than an asset. You need to be taken care of as a child. And the thing about it is, you're usually the most begging ass child of all the children. Because you have this thing called upkeep that you swear you have to have. $1,000 in makeup, $500 in hair, $300 in nails. You want to go to the day parties and look like you actually doing something, so you got to be buying bottles and all this dumb shit. You're doing a bunch of stuff to impress people that have nothing and bring nothing to your life. Now, that exact same money that you do, I want you to really think about that. $1,000, $500, and $300. That's $1,800 by itself. Okay? If you take that $1,800 alone and save for a year, you're at $21,600. Okay? That's $21,600. Do that times 5 years, you're over $100,000. That's how easy it is. This is really, I do this shit on a regular basis. I teach people this shit on a regular basis. Like, if you truly want to build legacy, it's about the easiest thing in the world that you can do. And the reason that I said that is on the most bullshit ass job, which is why I say work 2 jobs. If you got one job that can pay all your bills and you can get a second job, and let's say your second job, literally, if it was only worth bringing in $1,800, which ain't shit, because we know you're gonna make way more than that. $1,800 is even like minimum wage is still more than $1,800. So if you can do $1,800 a year, you can save $21,000 a year. Or invest $21,000 a year. But no, you want to spend $21,000 a year on some upkeep. Upkeep. Legacy. $21,000, I could buy a good chunk of property. Like open field property in Kentucky, Tennessee, Louisiana, the Carolinas, Alabama, Mississippi, Missouri, Kansas, Arkansas, Texas, Colorado. You can buy chunks of land with that type of money. That's legacy. See, you buy just land alone. Well, places like Phoenix, Arizona, well, they bought plenty of land, and nobody expected it to blow up. 20 years ago, Arizona wasn't what it is today. No, not Arizona. Phoenix wasn't what it is today. People bought a bunch of land in Santan, a bunch of land in Buckeye, a bunch of land in Queen Creek, a bunch of land in Apache Junction, a bunch of land in Surprise, a bunch of land in Holbrook, a bunch of land Peoria, a bunch of land Levine, a bunch of land in all these obscure Maricopa County, Maricopa City, all these different places around this damn city for no damn reason. And look, 20, 30, 40 years later, all that land now has 400,000, 500,000, 600,000, $1 million homes on them. You got to learn to be smart. That's legacy. See that shit y'all be sitting at your little 5-star restaurant talking about, I want to build a legacy. See, the difference is when you fucking with a nigga like me, I'm gonna ask you what you mean. When you sitting around talking about you want to build a relationship, I'm gonna ask you what you mean. We gonna talk about it. I'm gonna ask you real questions like, what's your credit score? I'm gonna ask you real questions like, what's your 5-year plan? I'm gonna ask you a real question is, if we're building a legacy, what half are you bringing to said legacy? Because see, first and foremost, legacy with me means you got to take my last name. Legacy with me means, shit, we might not be done making babies. Because I need to keep building and creating my last name. See, you know names like Trump. You know names like Gates. You know names like, what's the five families that the world knows of? I can't even think right now. It's been a long ass day. You know the Waltons, you know the Mars, you know the Koches, the Hermes, the Saudi families, or Saud family. Okay? These are dynasties. You know the what is the Walton family for Walmart. These are these are legacies, aka dynasties. These are names that are gonna go on forever. Okay? Y'all see what what's that motherfucker's name that do Tesla? All the kids he keep making, his last name's not going nowhere. And y'all know Tesla, but do you know anything else that he has created? No, because you don't look into it. See, in order for you to be this also amazing legacy builder, that means you can't just do one thing. You got to do one of many things. So while you're sitting around just making it about money, like cool, but you understand that money spins. You could win $500 million right now in the lottery. You're going to spend it. How many lottery winners don't even make it 2 years? Why? Because you didn't work for it. You don't even have the skills to know and understand how to hold on to your money. You don't know anything about compound interest and what kind of savings account, checkings account you should be putting your money into, where you are earning interest, compound interest on said money, that you live off of the interest alone, so your actual money never gets spent. So if you win $500 million, you can still give $500 million to your children without ever touching that money. Don't spend the dime for the first 30 to 45 days. Let that compound interest compound. It's little things like that that will actually take you to the next level. And as you get to the next level, you continue to level up. So imagine right now you meet somebody. Y'all fall head over heels in love with each other. You make 60,000, she makes 60,000. Together you make $120,000. Now, let's say your rent each month, let's say is $2,000. Okay? You take that times 12 months, that's 24,000 of your 120. You put yourself on a budget, okay? So if you make $120,000, subtract your $24,000, you're still sitting at $96K a year. You mean to tell me that off of $96K a year, you can't do nothing, you can't build nothing, you can't create nothing? See, that's why I laugh when a woman's like, I need a man that makes six figures. You need a man that makes six figures because you don't want to make no figures. A man that makes six figures, yeah, we can easily take care of you, but understand, there's not going to be a legacy. There won't be no legacy other than them children. You know, the ones you be like, fuck them kids, that's your legacy. And don't get a man that make too much money, because a motherfucker that make too much money gonna be like, cool, you don't want to work? Great. I'm about to go get me 3 other motherfuckers, though, that do. Because we finna really build some shit. Oh, I can't be by myself. Why? Why? You're not trying to put in on what I'm working towards. What you're actually trying to do is take away from what I'm working towards. I love you. I'm going to keep you because I do love you. But I also do have a plan, and you don't want to be on my plan. So since you don't want to be on my plan, I'm going to find somebody else that is. One way or another, I'm getting to the finish line. Do you want to go with me, or you want to get left behind? That's how most, like, the Rothschilds became who they are. Because it wasn't on one person. They worked together as an actual team. Legacy, something handed down from the past, such as traditions, cultural heritage, or property / money from a deceased person. See, here's the thing. When y'all talk about old money's not that old. But the reason old money exists is because there was someone in the family, grandpa, who went and spent $10,000 for that piece of property, $30,000 for that piece of property, $6,000 for that piece of property, $2,000 for that piece of property, and all of that just continued to make money. It went up in value. Nothing is on it. He put a fence on that bitch. That's it. When he died, Arthur, Agnes, Agatha, Bradley, John, and Joseph got land. Now, John was the smart motherfucker that was like, shit, we got this land. Man, I just talked to this builder that said he could put a grocery store right there on that piece of land. And what I'm looking at is, over there is Cobb County. Right there is Berry County. This is Okaloosa County. And we ain't got no Piggly Wiggly. But when I went over there to Texas and I was in Denton County, I saw that everybody loved a Piggly Wiggly. So I decided to talk to the general manager, and the general manager told me he helped me out. So the builder's willing to build. The general manager is going to help me franchise, and I get to use my property as leverage. I'm going to build me a Piggly Wiggly. Boom. all of a sudden you got yourself a Piggly Wiggly. Now, when you went to Piggly Wiggly, you said, I'm not going to sell you my land, but what I will do is I will lease it to you. I put you on a 50-year lease, and every 5 years we'll negotiate the price of the rent, the lease. So as those counties around Piggly Wiggly grow, they got a Piggly Wiggly. They got a store they can go to that carries everything that you need in the area. It's amazing. So John gets old as fuck. He got 5 kids of his own. But over the last 20 years of owning that Piggly Wiggly, he done made enough to give each of his kids $5 million. On top of that, he bought as much of the property he could around that Piggly Wiggly. So John had John Jr., and John Jr. comes in and goes, I don't see no gas stations within a 10-mile radius of here. So I went up and hit Chevron up, and I basically gonna follow the blueprint of my father. I'm gonna let you build on this land, and I'm gonna lease it to you. So now the family has a Piggly Wiggly and a gas station. Now, as long as you continue to do this, guess what happens? Before long, you are the reason there's an entire city amassed in that area where there was not one. You are the reason that the county flourishes. You're the reason that people decide to move to the area now, because they have a whole grocery store and a gas station. And guess what? You still own all the land around there. So when the builders come through and, hey, we want to go ahead and build on this land, it's not the fact that you have to sell it. You can lease it out. You can allow them to build on it. You charge them rent. Build apartment complexes, build condos, build houses that you're only going to rent out. You cannot buy. Rent only. It's amazing what you can do with that land that grandpa got. And that's what you consider old money. Now, generation number 3, down from grandpa, you've definitely amassed now what is called a legacy. See, the thing about legacy building is you have to be the blueprint. You may not be the one that see the millions or the billions that come, but you are the one that put the footprint, the blueprint in place for your kids to follow. That is legacy building. That is the epitome of building a legacy, which means first and foremost, you have to find somebody that's willing to partner up with you and sacrifice having less in order to make sure that your kids have more. Legacy. So I'm going to say it again. A legacy is something handed down from the past, such as traditions, cultural heritage, or property or money from a deceased person. It also refers to long-lasting impacts of past action. Are the things that you are doing right now today creating a legacy of who you are? Legacy. So I say that to say this, ladies and gentlemen. The next time you decide to sit down and talk about legacy, well, before you start having that conversation, the first thing I want you to do is pick up your phone that you already have in your hand in the first place and look up define legacy. And as you go through and see the definition of legacy, maybe you would want to reuse the term or not use said term. Not only that, understand something. When you deal with somebody who's actually smarter than a fifth grader, when you start saying things like, I want to build a legacy with someone, and I ask you, or that person asks you, what legacy have you already started to build? You better be able to answer the question. If you can't answer the question, you shouldn't be having that conversation, because you don't need someone else to build something that at the end of the day you should have already have started. See, in order to have a true legacy, it definitely is going to take two. And the reason it's going to take two is because legacy first starts with children. You have to leave something for someone else, which means you need children. Unless your legacy is based off of sports or actions or public speaking or having a message for the masses, like this could be legacy building. But if you think legacy only revolves around money and having things and being able to spend and vacation and do shit like that, unfortunately, you're not speaking shit about a legacy. You are just talking about an experience. You want to live a life of experiences. And the things that you should be investing in to create a legacy, you're giving away for moments of experiences. So, this was my TED Talk for the evening. Thinking about bringing back my channel motivational minutes, because that's kind of what this was. I'm gonna start jumping on this thing and doing this on a regular basis again. These always feel good. So, look forward to seeing my black ass again. We'll be doing this more often. There is my co-host. Y'all know Neek is putting some shit together right now. We gonna see how this turn out. This gonna be hilarious in a beautiful way. We gonna continue to have some fun here on No Cap Reacts. Hey, if you got any topics, any things that you guys would like to talk about, go to No Cap Reacts on Instagram. Hit the inbox. Let me know any topics that you want to hear about. We can have a conversation about, etc. At any point in time, you can also call in. We can set it up to where I call you, and we can have a conversation over the phone and make this a real one-on-one intuitive situation that other people get to learn from. So, I'm your man Bailey, a.k.a. Mr. Go!